Welcome to Creekside Chats with successful multifamily real estate investors. Dr. Allen chats with successful investors exploring their journey from setback to triumph. Through this window, we glimpse the truths that inspire our guests to invest abundantly and flourish in all areas of life. And now your host, Dr. Allen.
Welcome to Creekside Chats with successful multifamily real estate investors, where we delve deep into the lives of our successful guests to learn the secrets of thriving to flourish abundantly in all areas of life. I'm your host, Dr. Allen. Today's guest, through his love of all things San Francisco, this hyper-local native is intimately connected and offers a comprehensive and in-depth perspective into the current trends within the region's dynamic communities. He specializes in acquisition, marketing, and leasing of residential condominium, single-family, and investment properties. He is recognized as the #1 leasing agent in San Francisco. Welcome, David Chesnosky.
David, welcome to the show. I'm pleased that you have come on the show today. Looking forward to getting to know you. Let's start with, let's just take a look back at a childhood memory that as you look back on that memory, you can look at it and you can see that that was in some way, shape, or form a transformative experience for you. Probably at the time you didn't think of it that way, but as you look back on it, you can see that, yeah, that helped form who I am today.
Yeah, so, well, let's see. Being that I live in San Francisco and I'm in real estate, from a really early age, you know, I was always aware of what my dad did for work, and he was in construction. He was a plasterer, so you know, I saw the amount of time he spent at work and working on the weekends. And then, you know, I could remember being 7 or 8 years old and him taking me and my brother to work with him on the weekends. You know, he worked for he was a foreman of a big plastering company. So they'd work, you know, a lot of, I'd say, larger commercial jobs during the week, but on the weekends and after work, he'd had little side jobs that he worked on people's homes where I grew up on the peninsula, San Francisco Bay Area on the peninsula, in a town about 20 minutes south of San Francisco. And so, but you know, he worked really all over the Bay Area, but mainly in the peninsula and then in San Francisco. So yeah, so on the weekends, just going out and working with him and seeing, you know, I guess learning the value of a dollar. And seeing really how it's physical work and seeing, you know, kind of how hard he worked. Really, once I got a little older and I'm working office jobs, you know, and not having to carry these big heavy bags of plaster and buckets of plaster and cleaning and everything, I got a lot of respect for people that are in the trades. So I think seeing that as an early age has really helped me with my work ethic and, you know, with what I do now. So.
And I see something else in that, just from our conversation before we started the interview here. I think it also helped you to develop a sense of compassion and understanding for other people's perspectives.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it was we you know, I'm very proud to say that I grew up in the Bay Area and close to, and spent a lot of time in San Francisco as a kid, because my dad grew up in the city. My mom grew up on the peninsula. But when we were kids, when I was younger, we used to come to San Francisco all the time. And I love the diversity of the San Francisco Bay Area, people from all over the world and different cultures. And I learned at an early age that it doesn't, you want to, you respect the person. It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter their religion. It doesn't matter their color, their skin. It's the person. And I was able to grow up with and be surrounded by people from different parts of the world, like I said, in different backgrounds and, you know, in different religions, and to, like I said, respect people for who they are. So yeah, I'm grateful for that, and that my parents taught my brother and I that. So
As you as you think about your life, Robert Frost wrote the poem "Two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." Think of a fork in the road that you have come to that has made all the difference in your life.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, I started in I've been in I started my career in sales, in not in real estate, and in 2003 I made a decision to change careers and to get into real estate. And I got a phone. I've always lived in the Bay Area or in San Francisco. I moved to San Francisco in about '96, and then in 2001, I took a job in Denver, Colorado. Not in a sales job in Denver, Colorado, not in real estate. So at about 2003, I really wanted to move back to San Francisco, and I got a phone call from a friend who said that his family had just bought a corporate housing building, and so a furnished apartment building, and they needed a general manager, and they thought that I'd be perfect for the job. And I don't not have, and it basically was running the 61 unit corporate housing building or furnished apartment building. So running, doing leasing, accounting, managing the maids, the maintenance, just doing everything. And they thought it'd be great for the job. And, I've never, and I told them, I said, I've never done anything like it, but I'll give it a shot. So I moved back to San Francisco, and I moved into the building, and I had an office in the building, and I had an apartment in the building. And I still remember the first apartment that I rented. It was a couple that were moving from London, and they had just moved in, and they came down to my office, which was right next to the lobby. And they're like, we're relocating here, and we're staying here for a couple months, but we're brand new. Obviously, we've never been to San Francisco, and what do we do? And so I took them out in front of the building, and I said, "Oh, you gotta go." It was in Nob Hill, beautiful building on the corner, right behind Grace Cathedral Church, close to the Fairmont Hotel, the Mark Hopkins, the Huntington. Really, just a classic historical area of San Francisco. And I said, "You got to go to these hotels, and you got to go to the top of the Mark, and you got to go to this restaurant, this bar." And I just remember it was a husband and wife, and the wife just had this huge smile on her face. And both of them were like, "Oh, thank you so much. God, that's so great. We appreciate it." And they were so happy with me just helping them with this information, that at that point I knew that I was in the right job and the right career, and I'd taken the right path, because I've always felt that real estate is a service-based business. It's not, of course there's selling involved, but it's really, you have being a service to your clients, and having that fiduciary duty to take care of your clients, whether it's sales or leasing or property management or whatever. So yeah, I really felt that kind of shift for me was great. And that was in 2003. And I've been in, like I said, leasing and property management and sales in San Francisco, mainly focusing on multifamily since then. And it's been great.
That's interesting how the lights just suddenly went on in a profession that you hadn't even been really considering going into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there was some carryover there, I'm sure, from sales to leasing and what have you. So it wasn't like none of your skills came over in conjunction with that. But a light went on. And it was an exciting time in your life, and you knew instantaneously that's where you wanted to be and what it was you were meant to do. Talk to us a little bit about, well, that was, what'd you say, 2003-ish, and that period of time, so it's been like, 17, 18 years
Yep.
since that time. Tell us about how this career has integrated into your life, and how does it bring you meaning and fulfillment?
Yeah. So so that was, back in the end of 2003, early 2004. And I knew, once again, taking a step back, I also, there's definitely some things that helped me, working on these older homes or older apartment buildings with my dad, because I did work with him all the way through college too, so I got my start when I was really young, but then as I got older and a little bit bigger and I was able to do more. So just being around these older, classic historic, buildings and homes, which I loved doing. So I had an appreciation for that. And then definitely the sales helped. But then as I got in, like I said, as I got into mainly leasing and property management and the service aspect and the helping people aspect, because there's been, obviously so many new people that move into San Francisco. So you have a lot of people that are not familiar with the areas, and they're also not familiar with the price points of the different areas. So there's been a lot of times where people will email or call and they'll say, I'm looking to move to this area and I have this, here's my budget or my price point. And being able to help them. So as opposed to saying, because, I've seen it done before and I've done this myself, and I've told anyone that's worked with me, because I had, I've worked with some of the largest landlords in San Francisco, and I've run their leasing teams. So I've had agents and staff that have worked with me. And I've always said, if someone calls and we don't have something that's a fit for them or within their budget, let's offer something to them that will help them, so, and it obviously it doesn't need to be, if we don't have anything, let's suggest something that will help them. So I've had people call in and they have a certain price point they need to get to, and we don't have anything, but I'll say, you know what, look in this area, look maybe in this city, look at this, call this person, call this website, and, as opposed to just, no, sorry, we can't help you, and hanging up the phone or not responding to me or just a quick email back, but helping. And I think that's really help. That's been something that's been really fulfilling for me, to hear people respond with, wow, you're the only person that's done that, or you're the only person that responds to me, or you're the only person that picked up the phone, or it's like, it's so hard already. So to be able to say, look, have you thought about maybe this area right here? Like, they've got some good deals. They've got in this price point. It's easy to get to downtown from there. It takes a few minutes, but to just try and continue to help somebody, even if it's something that's not going to benefit me or people that work with me or the company with it's something that, I've always thought should be done. And I think it's helped with my career and the company I'm with. It's kind of, I like I said, I think the right thing to do. And I think it's good karma too. It's always something that's helped me along the way. And so I've always had that mentality.
Viewers and listeners who are just tuning in, my guest today is David Chesnosky. He is a property manager in the San Francisco Bay Area, amongst other things. He's sharing with us today aspects of his life. And you've talked about some amazing moments in your life, transformative experiences from childhood, and a fork in the road that unexpectedly gave you fulfillment in life. And it's nice to talk about all of those positive things, but all successful people know that if we're going to be successful, we have to deal with disappointment and setbacks. So talk to us about a major disappointment and setback in your life that as you look back on it, it was a learning experience, which I think most setbacks and disappointments are learning experiences. Not that we necessarily enjoy them, but we can learn from them. So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, the first experience that pops into my head would be, when there was obviously the last. Now we're going through some serious issues right now, but the last downturn of the economy, 08, 09 till around the end of 2010, I was an independent leasing agent and property manager at the time, and I had to go out on my own because the company that I was working for was in some dire straits at the time, some hits, as well as a lot of companies and a lot of people. And so, yeah, it was, I guess I kind of had hoped that I was a little bit better prepared being out on my own, but it actually really, it reinforced, I learned a lot from it because I was able to sort of pivot and do some different things to stay busy and work. But I'll never forget, there was a company that called me that was actually still busy and had a lot of clients and needed help with relocation tours. And I never did a lot of relocation tours, but I was at the point, there wasn't a lot of people renting. I didn't have a lot of clients. I didn't prepare well for it, because I was working for a company and I just kind of got out on my own. And I remember that these guys had called me up and said, hey, we need your help. And we've got this contract and we want you to handle these relocation tours and we're going to pay you this. And, we're doing it because we think you're perfect for it, but we like you. We've always liked your attitude and we always liked how positive you were and how hard you worked. And so that kind of, like I said, not being prepared and ready for that last financial crisis, and then knowing that these guys, the way that I handled myself in the past, they remembered that and they called on me. It really helped me. So even now, with all these issues that we're going through now, knowing what I learned in the past, as soon as we started going through this, like I say, a few months ago with the shelter and, all this, I've tried to stay positive. Same thing, tried to work hard, tried to help others. And, it's funny, a similar thing happened during this now current, crisis, where I got a phone call from somebody and he said, I would love to partner with you more on it. And, I could call a lot of different people, but I'm calling you because the interactions that we've had, although it wasn't even that many interactions, it's somebody that's in the same business, same industry as me. Even though we didn't have that many interactions, every time I interact with you, you were always friendly to me. And, I remember one time where I saw you out at a property and you were just, you're really nice and you were smiling and you were respectful to me. And so it's just, even in tough times, I don't know, I've just remember that, the things that I do today and how you treat people, will pay off for you in the future. So I always try and remember that. So no matter how tough times are, to try and stay positive and, like I said, and be friendly to people and be nice to people, because you never know at what some point down the road. I mean, this is the story that recently that the guy told me. It was like literally 7 or 8 years ago when I saw him at a building. I do remember it now, but I didn't. He brought it up and then I remembered it. But yeah, so it was pretty. It's nice to hear. So that's kind of how I've and like I said, and trying to definitely stay more focused, like I said, on the day and making sure that I'm planning and preparing, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or in the future. So
looking at you now and listening to you now, I have the impression that that being positive, being friendly, being outgoing is just an intuitive part of who and what you are. I'm wondering, is that true, or is that something that you had to learn and to develop?
No, I think I think I learned a lot from growing up and my parents. I mean, I already told you, like, they were a positive people, and you know, they encouraged me and my brother to, you know, get out and be, you know, and interact with people. You know, they wanted us to, yeah, to go out and just be friendly and be good people. And so I think, yeah, you know, some of it was learned, some things you just pick up over the years, and then certain times I've just thought to myself that that's who I am. That's, you know, and I want to be myself. And, you know, because I will say that I've heard, you know, sometimes, or I think about it sometimes, that people might say, you know, you have to be, like you can't be too nice when it comes to business or work. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get people will walk all over you, or if you're too nice, you get taken advantage of. I've heard that one too. Or if you're too nice, you're going to be called a pushover. And maybe that'll happen. Maybe people say that, but I think I've had a great career so far. I'm continuing to have a great career by being myself, and yeah, being nice and friendly to people and respecting people. And I think you can do that and you can still be successful in business. You know, it's just not me. It's just not me I'm just not going to change the way I am. And all of a sudden I'm just this, you know, person that's difficult to work with, and, you know, and I don't know. And, you know, it's just like, and as a jerk to people, it's not my nature. Not that I'm perfect, not that I haven't made mistakes and, you know, been in situations where maybe I'm a little stressed out and I say the wrong thing. But I think anyone would say if that happens, I'm probably the first person, and I'm very quick to apologize and say, look, I made a mistake. So yeah, so like I said, I think some of it is learned, some is just learned from when I'm younger. Some I've learned over the years, and then other times that's just kind of knowing that's who I am, and that's how I want to be. And, you know, and I think that's important.
Yeah, the more authentic any of us are, I think the more attractive we are. Whether we've got that positive, outgoing personality that you have, or whatever our personality is, if we're true to it, I think we're just more attractive as people that way.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming to the end of our time here, unfortunately, because I've enjoyed our conversation here today. I've got one last question that I ask all of my guests. Before I go to that, tell our viewers and listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so two different ways. So I'm in residential leasing in San Francisco, and also property management. So residential leasing mainly focusing on multifamily leasing in San Francisco, and I'm starting to do more now in the East Bay and the Peninsula, and multifamily sales. And I work for Compass Commercial, and you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is renting SF. So rent, plural, renting, RENTING, SF for San Francisco. And you can follow me and send me a message there, or you can send me an email, which is dave@rentingsf.co, not .com.
Okay. Why is it .co and not .com?
.com was taken.
It was taken. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So and the people that have helped me with my insert, just I wanted to have renting SF. I didn't want to, you know, I wasn't able to get renting I'm changing my website to rentingsf.co also. Right now it's rentingsfonline.com, but I wanted just renting SF, and only .co was available, so I just went with that.
Well, it works. It works pretty good there.
Yeah, thanks.
My last question is, when you come to the end of this life's journey, how do you want your epitaph to read?
Let's see. No, that's a good, you know, definitely, like I said, and it's funny, I thought about this just recently, you know, especially with things that are going on right now. words are just words. You can post things on social media and, and that's it. I mean, what good is that? But actually, if you want to make a difference, you have to take action. And I'm not going to get into some of the, things that I've done, but I have. I've volunteered, and I'm trying to make a difference by taking action and creating opportunities for certain people and to really hopefully change their lives, and then encourage them to change other people's lives by helping them. So that to me is probably something that I would love to be remembered as, is somebody that, like I said, took action, helped create opportunities to change people's lives. That to me is really powerful. And I've seen it also, I've seen, when you meet with somebody or talk to somebody and say, hey, I want to do this for you, or I want you to try this, and to see them really, I don't know, just get excited and like I said, and then I always respond and then for them to really say thank you so much and appreciate it. And I say, look, the only thing I want for you to do is to help somebody else, and that I think creates change. Like I said, I mean, anyone can, and I'm guilty of it too, I guess sometimes, anyone can just type up something or say something to someone or post something on social media, but then, if you don't take real action on it, I don't know, nothing's going to change. So that's probably the main thing that I would love for people to remember.
Well, it is a powerful epitaph, and it looks like a fitting epitaph. But I hope it's not there for many, many years to come. David, it has been a real pleasure having you on the show. It's been a pleasure learning about you, and what a wonderful life you are living.
Thank you.
Making a difference in this world. Thanks for being on our show today.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Creekside Chats with Successful Multifamily Real Estate Investors, brought to you by Steed Talker Capital. Steed Talker Capital works with both new and established investors nationwide, creating opportunities to flourish in all areas of life. As part of our efforts to make the world a better place, Steed Talker Capital contributes to activities and organizations committed to better understand the equine. These endeavors attempt to enhance the human treatment of horses worldwide. Steed Talker Capital, working for a world where all creatures great and small flourish abundantly. For resources to enhance your well-being through multifamily real estate investment, connect with us online at capital.steedtalker.com.